Okay, Susan Cromer is a graduate of my course on self-transformation through personal magnetism. She is here today. I'm going to interview her. Unfortunately, I lost my voice a little bit today, but I'm sure you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Very good. All right, so you graduated from my course recently,
Yes, I
right?
did.
Now, I would like you to maybe mention how you felt when you started, what made you want to start, and how you feel now afterwards. You don't have to lie. You don't have to impress anybody. Just tell it like it is, because that's the kind of person I am. That's why my stuff works, because it's like it is.
Absolutely. I started because I was going through a lot of life changes, and I had I found out about you because I had heard about something called Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, and you were on the website as a practitioner, and I saw then your...
Is that the Gary Craig website?
Exactly,
Okay.
Emo Free. And I saw your book when I looked on the your clicked on you as a practitioner, and saw that you lived close to me. So I just called to see if I could pick up the book rather than have you mail it, since
Oh,
I
I
lived...
remember now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lived a couple blocks away, so it seems silly to have you mail it to me.
You're talking about my book,
Yes, your
Developing
book.
Confidence.
Exactly.
Mm.
So
yes, I remember.
so I came by to get it, and then we talked about you actually teaching me the course, and that's how it started. But from that, I really had no idea what to expect, but pushed to try to finish it as quickly as possible, which I think I did really well. And the transformation was total and incredible. It's just a huge difference.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit of some of the details so that the viewers can understand a little bit more. Some of the little details of the things in the course that brought about this change.
Well, the work with the voice, you're a vocal coach, and you, I guess through that, have developed the vocal part of it, which isn't singing, but that really helped me project in ways that I didn't even realize were happening. That's what's so intriguing about it, is that all of the things daily things that you have us do end up working, and you don't really understand necessarily why you're doing it.
I'm glad you said that, because I often try to explain to myself why using this vocal technique in the transformation, why it works. It's difficult to explain, to put your finger on it.
Yes.
So I'm glad you're saying that.
Yes, but it's remarkable. I mean, it just translates into everything then that you do. I mean, somehow it develops confidence, and you know, as well as the other things that you do in the course. So I just am able to enter a room now with, you know, if it's a crowded restaurant, whatever, you know, and feels completely unself-conscious, where I think most people feel, unless they've done your course, feel like, oh gosh, you know, maybe somebody's looking at me, or I wonder if this and that and whatever, and it's totally gone.
Right,
So
right. That's a very important detail, because people get in front of a crowd, and their consciousness is so much on themselves that they can't be in totally present time seeing what's going around.
Yeah, and then they aren't themselves. You're somebody else.
They lose control.
Yes, yes. You just
and then the panic comes into people.
I think it's happened to probably everybody, you know, at some point in their life. I mean, most people, unless you've somehow developed this ability not to do that. So I think it's great. I know that I feel very, very confident. I'm doing things now that I would not have been able to do before.
Such as this thing you mentioned about your new purpose in life.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, my purpose in life, which you helped me decide what it is, or find out what it is, discover. Well, I was a teacher, and So I think teaching and sharing has always been a part of my life. You know, I just liked helping people. So through this, I've realized that my purpose is to help people to be the best they can be, and to, you know, I think the whole situation of what's going on in the world now is very difficult. It really beats people down. It's hard to be cheery or to, you know, everybody's worried. They're really worried. So I want to share with them what I've learned through you, as well as other things, and help them to deal with what's going on, and be the best that they can be, and find out what they need to be doing to be happy.
Very good. You mentioned that you're working on some kind of a, excuse me, some kind of a little course. I lost my voice. With the last student I had, I worked my voice too much. You mentioned that you're working on, maybe gave me idea of some kind of a project that you're working on, but you're not quite sure. But that project is within your purpose in life, which is to help people, self-improvement, this sort of thing.
Yes.
Can you just mention a little bit?
Yes. The first thing, it's sort of a series, which will lead to my finale, which is going to be fabulous. But can't wait for the finale myself. The first thing I'm going to do is create a series of videos to show people EFT and how they can apply it to their life. Just general things that most people deal with daily or weekly, to help that way, and to familiarize people with EFT, because I think it's a great tool to help just get through whatever, business, personal. I've used it on my children. It's very, very easy. You just need to learn the basics, and then you adapt it to yourself. It's you know, it's not
a miracle.
It is, and it's not
EFT. We tend to say EFT, and people don't know what EFT, and which means Emotional Freedom Techniques, which I use in the transformation course. Yeah, to me, it's a miracle.
It really is, and people around the world are using it and saying the same thing. It just works for everything. I mean, you just need to try it. Great thing is you can do it yourself once somebody shows you, and it's, you know, it's not like you're going to blow up if you know, you don't mess it up. It's not, you know, oh my God, you did this wrong, and you're you know, that's it. Your life's over.
Yeah, it's a very forgiving process. It doesn't hurt anything if you overdo it.
Exactly. You can't hurt. You can't hurt. You're probably, you know, more than likely going to help, and you adjust it for yourself. You know, I've talked to a lot of people. I've read a lot, and you know, everybody's doing different things and finding what works for them, and that's great, because I think that's the key to so much, is that, you know, we don't need gurus. We don't need somebody to tell us every day, this is what you have to do. You know, we need to find within ourselves what works for us, and we have the power. But you know, there's different techniques for you to find out, you know, what is your power, and what works for me. You know, what works for me may not work for you, may not work for Sam over there. You got to find out what is it that works for you. So that's what I'm going to do, is try to get the word out to people that don't have time to explore themselves. It takes a lot of time, you know, or you're just being in the right place and say, oh gosh, I didn't know about that. To show them the different things that are available, and you know, try it and see if this, you know, maybe EFT. Well, I think EFT works for just about anybody, but you know, maybe this doesn't work, or you know, it's just like somebody likes a book and they don't like another book, or I like to eat at this restaurant and you don't. So
right. And it's a wonderful thing that you're doing.
Thank you.
My work, I love it, because it's something, well, you know, I come from a different planet. So I don't believe in any of this earth stuff that's going around, you know, like the bad economy and all of this. I'm really happy to see that all the graduates of this course, they don't depend on the economy. They're out there pushing themselves.
Right. I think we make our own reality.
Right.
And that's what people, you know, it's important for them to realize that, you know, if you want to be doom and gloom, then that's what your life's going to be. If you want to be happy, then there's ways to be happy.
It's really great. I'm really happy for you that you got these wins. I'm happy for myself to see that the stuff is working. Okay?
Thank
and
you.
Thanks a lot, my dear.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome to the course number 5, Self-Transformation Through Personal Magnetism. And this course is now, I'm now giving it to this gentleman, Michael Consiglia, who has studied quite a bit with me. He's done all the vocal courses. He's actually a professional teacher, music teacher, and a professional performer. And he studied with me for quite a while. He did all my courses on voice. He's doing very well in life. And now we decided to do course number 5, Self-Transformation, because, as you probably have read before, or you heard me say it, singing is not a very difficult thing. It's not like as difficult as classical guitar or concert piano. That's my viewpoint, and I know all the instruments. But one thing about singing is the person behind the voice. And so this course transforms a person. So that person who is behind the voice is now projecting himself out to the audience. He is now capable of doing anything he wants. So, this is Michael Consiglia, and first let me tell you a little bit about the course. Self-transformation. What's self-transformation? Well, you transform. And you're thinking, transform how? Well, that's what life is for, to learn to transform. Why transform? Because as you transform on the side of benevolence, a lot of things happen. As you transform to this course, you get in tune with the infinite. You become in tune with what I call the universal beingness, so that your life automatically goes well. This is a fact. I can't prove it to you because there's no way to prove it. This is not like science. This is individual science. The proof is within you. So, when you transform, you'll know it. Okay, so, Michael, okay, let's go over this first so you'll know what to study. This is the class book. This is called the class manual. Do you have the textbook with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you take it out so we have it ready? Okay, the textbook is Developing Confidence and Personal Magnetism. That's the textbook that we use. You're going to put that over there for now. Do you have your student manual? Good. Those people who are taking on Skype from people from Europe, they should order the textbook, Developing Confidence, and also the class manual. Because the manual tells us step by step where we are going. If we don't have that manual, I can't remember who's who or where you are, you know.
Right.
So, let's take a look at that. Let's open it up. The first thing you see on page 2 is Welcome to the Sublime Course number 5, and there's a Client Coachability Index. I took this Client Coachability Index from the works of Dr. Nathaniel Brandon, and I use it because I use a lot of the material that he has in his books. And this Coachability Index, it gives the student and I an idea of what the student is willing to do. So you want to fill that out at home, score yourself, and you will know for yourself just where you stand. Right?
Okay.
For example, I keep my word without struggling or sabotaging. So then you give it a number on that. The higher the number, the better. Okay, you'll know what to do. Then on page number 3, let's get started. Okay, and then there is a pronouncement by me which you should study at home. All the beginning material in the manual is to be studied at home. However, as I present it to you right now, I will stop here and there on the things that are very important. Now on page number 4 we have step number 1, which you ought to read at home. That is an indication for foreign students, because this course has a lot to do with the power, the hidden power in the voice. And an accent is fine, unless it's very, very bad, but foreign students, when they don't know the exact meaning of the words, they're reading and they'll go to sleep, or they'll get sick, or they quit the course. And in a minute I'm going to prove that to you. Then step 2 is an overview of the private class program. You need to read that. Then there are a few testimonials to encourage you on page 5, so you can see what other people have done. Then on page 6 we have step 3. It says read out loud in class now, EFT application. So I want to let you read these because you want to know a little bit about EFT right now, because we're going to use it. In fact, we begin with EFT because EFT cleans up your whole life. After you're clean, then we start putting stuff in. Except that I don't wait until you're cleaned up. I start putting stuff in a little bit at a time along with EFT. See? So, read, what is EFT?
EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. It is a further development by Gary Craig of the original Callahan technique, discovered by psychotherapist Dr. Roger Callahan.
Right. Dr. Roger Callahan discovered this technique, this tapping technique, which is a miracle. It's really incredible. Then Gary Craig apparently studied with Dr. Callahan, gave it a different name, and what Gary Craig did was popularize it in such a way that it's easier to apply. But one should read Dr. Callahan too. I like the way he applies it, so I use whatever. Now, how does it work? Read that.
It is based on the workings of the nerve meridians used in Oriental medicine. When you tap on a certain nerve centers of your body while holding stressful thoughts and or mental image pictures in your mind, the life energy is released from the nerve centers and, like a bolt of lightning, dissipates and neutralizes the negative emotional charge held in those thoughts and mental pictures.
Right.
The client experiences immediate release.
So the immediate release, it's incredible. Now, I learned this one time. I had several sessions with Dr. Nathaniel Brandon because many years ago I had a very bad phobia, like almost for the half of my life, and I corrected with this and many other things, and that was my first transformation. It was really amazing what happens to you. Anyway, how does it work? When you tap, apparently, this is what I've noticed. I really believe in proving these things to yourself by doing everything. I don't read books anymore. I have 2 books out of maybe 10,000 nowadays have something to say. The rest, they just say what somebody else said.
Right.
And it's all based on all these modern superficial techniques. Now, you want to read a good book, you go back to the early or middle 19th century, like a book like Cosmic Consciousness by Dr. Maurice Buch. Man, he was able to write about the new consciousness which is overtaking the planet Earth today, which is cosmic consciousness. Just amazing. I have learned so much from that book. This is my second reading. My first reading I did many, many years ago. So, all these things are kind of connected. So if I tap here, let's say under the collarbone, apparently what I'm doing is my system is doing is releasing a lot of psychic energy. And when I say psychic energy, I don't mean fortune telling.
Right.
Psychic is a word, which is the opposite of physical. So you're releasing psychic energy, and I don't know how it gets released. And it doesn't matter.
Right.
All you have to do a couple of sequences of what I'm going to show you, and you feel better immediately, even if you're not saying anything, even if you don't have a picture in mind. All right, so if I have a picture in my mind, I say to you, for example, okay, Michael, you want to get rid of nervousness on stage. Not that you're nervous, but this is just an example.
Right.
Okay, you came to me because you're nervous on stage when you perform? Okay, very good. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to get a mental image picture of being on stage and feel that nervousness now at this moment.
Yeah.
You got it? You say, yeah, very good. Okay, now tap. And we do this whole sequence of tapping. And apparently, all of this psychic energy gets released and blows that mental image picture to smithereens. I mean, it just blows it apart. Very atomic.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. And now there is, the operator has to know about human nature, because the more he knows about human nature, the more he shortens the time involved in the process. He has to ask the right questions, and perhaps if I followed, if you said, well, I'm nervous on stage, I might ask you, well, when was the first time in your life when you got nervous in front of an audience? You say, oh yeah, I forgot all about it. It was in high school. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's hold that in mind. Pa, 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 pa. That basic incident is holding all the others in place. It goes, it disappears, and now what you complained about is gone. See? So EFT is like a table. Picture a big tabletop like this. This is the way Gary Craig taught us. This big tabletop, and this table has 10 legs. Now the tabletop represents the whole thing that you're trying to get rid of.